I'm going to choke during one of these shows, and then our views are really going to go up. So I'm going to choke on my video.
Welcome to Saints on Tap, presented to you by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. I'm Joe Simeone, he's John Wiener. We got our pitcher poured up, and we're going to get through as much Saints talk and topics as we can before we run out of beer.
I'm ready to go. I'm fired up, and shout out to everybody for joining us on Saints on Tap.
Yeah, I can't wait to start drinking and get drunk. Let's hit our first.
And talk Saints.
Yeah, well,
and talk really good Saints. We've been all over it the last 2-3 weeks. Anybody who's watched the show, they've gotten the pulse of the games in a way that I don't think you have anywhere else. I'll be real.
Yeah, we've been nailing it every single time, so get ready, because this week we got some stuff poured up and ready to go.
I'm about to nail this pitcher. What's our first pour?
All right, first pour. The Saints are sitting at 3-1, led by Teddy Bridgewater. How real is this team as a 3-1 team right now?
What do you think?
I think it's hard to question them with the way that they've played on all sides of the ball, the entire team coming out, and especially when you talk about the coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to use the Bill Parcells phrase here, and we get to do it early in the season. You are what your record says you are, and what does that mean? I don't know. Sounds pithy at times. I've tried to break that down at times, and sometimes you think it's really sagely, and then you're like, wait, what? Yeah. I think that when you look at the teams that they've played, look at the schedule. It's not an easy league, and that win in Seattle, they don't get that with Drew Brees all the time. You know what I mean? And then to beat the Cowboys, who were undefeated last week, I think that it's not fool's gold. Let's put it that way. And I think they've done a really good job the last 2 weeks of integrating the defense and the special teams and working with Teddy Bridgewater. Has Bridgewater been great? No. But has it been by design? Absolutely. And Bridgewater not throwing the ball down the field, that's all part of it.
That's something that I think a lot of people are missing. You know, they expect these big flashy plays from the Saints and expect the ball to be going downfield with Drew Brees at the helm.
Yeah.
That's not the case right now, and it doesn't matter. As long as you pick up the W's, as long as you can find a way to win every single week, that's what makes you a playoff caliber team.
Absolutely.
And they are showing that they have that grit and performance in them to get it done.
Grit, good word. Performance, good word. Sean Payton talks all the time about complimentary football.
Yeah.
And the Saints were a Super Bowl contender this year. They were on the doorstep of the Super Bowl each of the last 2 years, not just because of number 9. You've got the best kicking tandem in the entire friggin' league in Will Lutz and Thomas Morstead. You got a defense who last year was really terrific, and you look, and they've come out and gone to bat the last 2 weeks. So it was always about so much more than Drew Brees, right?
Absolutely.
Because as great as Brees is, I can point to you a lot of good teams, a lot of teams with good quarterbacks. The Detroit Lions with Matthew Stafford. Hell, our guy Matty Ice down in Atlanta. You know what I mean? He's pretty good, but the rest of the team is muffin soft. And so I think that what we talked about when Brees went out is exactly, this was going to test that whole idea of Sean Payton, the culture of the organization, how good the defense was, and it's passed with flying freaking colors.
Yeah, I mean, they beat 2 teams who are going to be playoff teams later in the year, most likely. And so when you can pick up wins like that, it's a real 3-1 team. You know, teams should be afraid to play the Saints right now, no matter who's at the helm.
Don't you feel like it's house money a little bit? Don't you feel like you're just ahead of schedule?
Right.
The best hope was for, Bridgewater even to go 2-4. You know what I mean? 2-3 wins maybe. They've already hit that.
You were hoping that they would pick up one of these games, Seattle or Dallas. They picked up both, and that's huge.
Yeah, what a great job. I mean, they did against Dallas defensively. You know, you scored 14 points against Seattle without the offense. Last week was the first time Sean Payton had won a game without scoring a touchdown ever in his career. And the week before was the first time he had won without Drew Brees. But it hasn't been, I don't think, fool's gold or happenstance. I think not only has the defense played well, and we'll get into this a little later in Sip or Chug, which is one of my favorite games coming out, they have, I think, really game planned a good job. That Saints and Cowboys game, if you switch the coaching staffs, I think Dallas wins going away. Jason Garrett got embarrassed by Sean Payton, I thought, last week to lose that game.
That's a great point, and yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. But
I'm slow on
I know,
this.
yeah. You didn't even. This is gonna be a 20-minute show if you keep drinking at the pace you're going.
Who we cheersing to this week, man?
Yeah. So I want to cheer. I cheersed a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna put it down. Hold on. I cheersed a couple weeks ago to the nuts of Will Lutz, and now
Big nuts, Lutz, yeah.
And now I'm going with the man who holds his balls, Thomas Morstead. So I would love to cheers to the NFC special teams player, Thomas Morstead. He's done a fantastic job.
And I saw it was like one of the first times like Morstead had won that award or something. Was that right?
First time in his career.
First time in his career, and he's magnificent.
Yeah.
He's so good every week.
11 punts down inside the 20 out of 17. That's incredible. And he had a 64-yard punt against Seattle.
His punts look like a Rory McIlroy 5-iron, like coming, like landing right down on the flag. Just an absolute bomb. You know what I mean? Dropping it off. I'm going to give a cheers. Honestly, excited about this Bud Light partnership. So big cheers to Matt Jeffries, Southern Beverage, Mr. Theo Costas, and all the guys that made this possible. I mean, you talk about a cheers. Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, now the official beer partner here for Saints on Tap. And we're going to make those Bud Light quotients, I think, go up like all the way fast. And this beer is going to evaporate quicker than a Falcons 28-3 lead, baby. Boom!
Get it in
down
there.
On the Dirty Birds. But also a quick cheers to the staff, not just Sean Payton. Dennis Allen, what a terrific job he did against Dallas.
Absolutely.
Just to blanket that defense in the game plan. And then 2 weeks ago, or last week, with the final defensive series, I mean, how many times have we seen the Saints blow that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Play comically bad defense. They got a sack. They blitz on the Hail Mary. What a great call. The whole staff. Terrific.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
I got to finish this one up.
Finish it up.
Saints on Tap, brought to you by Bud Light.
We'll see you guys in a second.
Had some sloppy pours last week. We're trying to do a better job.
Looks like it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a much
good. I
better
love
job.
the golden Bud Light. It just glimmers in
yeah.
the glass.
It does, it does.
It absolutely glimmers in the glass. Saints on Tap, brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Also, Bon and Vivant, the official seltzer of the NFL. We got something special for our Bon and Viv fans. Are you ready?
I am, but we gotta hit on tap first.
Yeah, no, well, I'm just saying, like, the Bon and Viv
something
segment,
really.
like, it's coming. You know, sometimes you do a show and, like, you tease, like, what's to come. But what is on tap is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do we got this week?
Tampa Bay
What are we, like, in Superdome, 12 o'clock start, all that stuff?
Absolutely, coming into the Dome, 12 o'clock, and the Saints are favored by 4 going into this game. What are you looking for in Tampa Bay right now?
I mean, when you think about Tampa, right, it's like, it's all about famous Jameis. Like,
Drink up right there.
Why?
Broke the rules.
Oh, that was
a little.
Oh, that was our drinking game this week. That's right. We have a hidden
on.
drinking game every week, and this week it's anytime you use a quarterback nickname because there's a lot to go around. Okay.
I'll let him wait.
I'm really picking up my pace here.
I see. Yeah, you started slow.
Yeah, we started slow out of the gates, and now we got the no-huddle offense going. I think that everything about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is about Jameis Winston. Like, when they drafted this kid a few years ago out of Florida State, I was a huge Jameis Winston believer. I was all in that he was a franchise quarterback, going to be the guy for Tampa and have them be contenders. It looked that way for a while.
Right.
And then it didn't, to the point where they were almost ready to punt on Jameis Winston. I mean, Fitzmagic came in there and lit the Saints up last
Another drink right there.
Oh, it is.
This guy.
I knew the famous Jameis thing was coming. That would not.
Does that count as a third right there?
Oh, no! I'm going to be wasted before this segment even finishes. But it's all about Jameis Winston.
No, I'm totally with you.
With Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And, you know, the NFL is a quarterback league, and you either have the guy or you don't. They thought they had the guy. For a while, it was like, eh. And even this year, when you look at what Tampa Bay's done the last 2 weeks, Jameis has been terrific. They hung 55 on the Rams team that the Saints could barely block. And so when I think about the Bucs, I think about what Jameis brings to the table. Big playability, lots of turnovers, and I think that's the key this week.
I mean, Jameis is, I'm with you, but he's one of those bizarre guys in the NFL because he's so inconsistent. You know, he can go out and he can hang 350 yards and 4 touchdowns one week, and then the next week he's going to come out and throw 6 interceptions, and you're like, what in the hell just happened? But I think that a huge part of his turnaround the past 2 weeks at least, I want to attribute it a little bit to the QB whisperer back there and Bruce Arians, who's done a fantastic job, I think, with this Tampa Bay team already. You know, turning around, I think, confidence in Jameis.
And you knew that, right? Like, you know Bruce Arians really well. You followed him closely in Indianapolis. Like, I think people saw that and said, hey, that's a good match, right? Like Bruce Arians and Jameis?
If there's one guy who can save your quarterback and turn him around when you're ready to give up on him, it's probably Bruce Arians.
Or Dan Mullen.
He's in the NFL, yes.
Yeah, exactly, right?
But yeah, no, I think Bruce has done a great job, and you see that offense is rolling right now. It's really clicking, and you talk about Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. They've got some weapons that he's really utilizing. And he's even brought in some talent on the defense. You look at Todd Bowles and what he's been able to do, and I'm telling you.
It's a pretty good staff in its own right with Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles.
So when you look at this game, that's one of my big storylines right now is watching Todd Bowles and see what he can do, because this is a guy who's hyper-aggressive. He loves to blitz on almost every down. You'll see a lot of 5-man rushes coming at you, and a lot of you think one guy's coming, drops out, the corner blitzes instead. So we're going to see how smart Teddy Bridgewater really is, because for him to win today, he's going to have to be able to get over the top of that defense.
But also, there's a lot of opportunity for Bridgewater, though, because as good as the Bucs have been in certain areas against the run, and I mean, with Ndamukong Suh in the middle and Devin White on the outside, I forget the other linebacker who's really terrific for them as well.
Levante David.
Levante David, yeah, exactly. That's a really ferocious front seven. But as good as they are, the secondary's been weak. They're 30th in pass defense. They're like 30th in points allowed. So I think it'll be interesting to see if the training wheels come off for Teddy Bridgewater a little bit this week. He'll certainly have the opportunity, and I think they may have to in terms of the Bucs' ability to score points. Like the Saints may have to score more than 13, and offensively against Seattle they only scored like 14 or 15.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have to come out swinging, and Teddy Bridgewater, we're going to see how smart he is, like I said, because you got to be able to pick up those blitzes and get over the top of that defense, because they'll leave you opportunities, but Teddy's got to be able to recognize it and hit it quick. I'm
gonna give a quick shout out to my guy Rick Cleveland, the Gov here. He would love this one. Did you know that Bruce Arians' quarterback whisperer stuff actually started right here in Mississippi, in Starkville, Mississippi, in 1978 when Bruce Arians was 25 years old? He was the passing coordinator under Bob Tyler at Mississippi State. And so really, all of this offensive genius for Bruce, it all comes from Mississippi State.
Kind of wild that that's 40 years ago.
Is it really?
40 years, 78 you said?
Also, no one knows that.
40 years
no
ago.
one watching the shows on Bruce Arians and Mississippi State. But that's where we're at.
Well, we've got to hit our Bon and Viv segment, do we not?
Yeah. Bon and Viv, Spike Performers. Bon and Viv, the official seltzer of the NFL. And seltzer's all the rage these days, man. Spike seltzers, I mean.
Yeah, they are, and they're actually delicious.
Yeah, they're like I tried to find some Bon and Viv,
especially like down here in the summer heat.
Yeah.
Crack open a Spike seltzer, man. I'll crush a lot of those.
Still hot, man, here in Mississippi and certainly down in New Orleans. So Bon and Viv, Spike Performers. What's the big the matchup? Either the guy who you got to watch for Tampa Bay, or the guys who got to step up for New Orleans.
For me, the guys who have to step up for New Orleans. Ted Ginn, Jared Cook. Somebody has to do it other than Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. Everyone knows where the ball is going. They count for, 60% of the offensive yards right now?
Of the passing yards, which is actually more than they had last year.
Right, which is just, it's ridiculous. Everyone knows where the ball is going. Bucs are going to be focusing on them. Somebody else has to step up.
I told you Jared Cook wasn't going to do shit.
I said that too,
Jared Cook has been non-existent. He's got 8 catches for 70 yards on the season, although they tried to target him more last week. And Ted Ginn had a great game against Houston. I think he had 9 catches for 100 or whatever. He's had 5 catches in the last 3 games. I think you're spot on, man. They got to find another target, especially, I think, to take some pressure off of Teddy Bridgewater. My Bon and Viv Spike Performers are going to be on the other side. The guys the Saints have to go and look out for, and it's Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, the wide receiving core for Tampa Bay. I don't have to bring this up for Saints fans because it's going to be traumatic. It's a horror flick looking at what Ryan Fitzpatrick did last year. They hung half 100 on the Saints in the opening game, and Mike Evans was an absolute monster. Chris Godwin, 4'2" guy. I mean, he's a track star. He was like NCAA, like 100 meters, like a track finalist. Had a monster year. Monster game last week against LA. You look at Evans and Godwin, they're 2 of the top 6 in the NFL in receiving yards, tied for first in touchdowns. Big, rangy, physical guys. I think the onus is on that Saints secondary. Hackett Hank's giving us the eye. I'm about to finish my beer. Need my cutoff bag, man. I think that's a huge matchup to watch. Again, can the Saints secondary stand up against a great wide receiver?
I'm right there with you. If you're a football fan, there's nothing more you love to watch than watching 2 premier guys like Lattimore and Evans going up against it. I'm excited for the game. And I guess we got to finish up now.
I'm excited for our game coming up. There's some history there, too, between Lattimore and Evans. Evans lit Marshawn Lattimore up when Jameis was doing his little crab thing.
All right, we got Sip or Chug coming up here.
We're about to play an actual drinking game on this show where we drink in preview of a game. So now we've like brought it full circle and like actually playing a drinking game. See what I did there?
I do. You love to explain stuff to make sure people know what's going on.
Big shout out to our Bud Light guys, the official beer of the NFL and the official beer of Saints on Tap. And I got to be honest, like, there's no better beer I'd rather queue up, honestly, for an NFL Sunday than Bud Light. What's our first game? Our first topic in the first game.
Up is...
And how does this work? It's like sip if we're like, and chug if we believe, okay.
Exactly.
I should know.
First up. Famous Jameis, is he franchise quarterback or not?
Do I really need to chug even more? I'm going to.
You're going to chug on Famous Jameis being a franchise quarterback?
You got to drink. That's a quarterback nickname, dude. I was going to say Teddy Bridgewater's nickname, but I'm going to have to drink again because Teddy Bridgewater's got a great nickname, too.
Is it Teddy Two Gloves? Or I'll drink for that. But
Teddy Ballgame, dude.
Teddy Ballgame.
I'm going to chug on Jameis Winston simply because, first of all, he's their number one pick. Like, he's going to have to be that whether they like it or not. It's why they haven't moved on from him since then because they invested so much in him. I just think Jameis has a turnover problem.
No shit.
But also, Jameis gives you a chance to win on Sundays. Jameis is a plus at the quarterback position. When you look at what they hung 55 on the Rams last week, like of all teams, like Jameis over the last 2 weeks, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 380 plus. He's more of a big play guy than I thought maybe he would be and less consistent in terms of the turnovers. But if you ask the Bucs right now, would we rather have Jameis or would we rather have our pick of whatever else is out there? They're going Jameis every time. Yeah, I'm chugging on Jameis. I still believe in famous Jameis. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll drink on that one.
I'm going to sip on that one. And it's because...
I knew you were.
Yeah, because, all right, they don't remind me play style-wise. They're totally different. But famous Jameis reminds me a lot.
This is a good one.
He reminds me a lot of Marcus Mariota in the fact that both of them, not in play style.
Okay.
In the fact that both of them do just enough to make you go, oh, maybe they'll turn the page. Oh, maybe they'll be the franchise guy. But they're not. They're just
but Mariota never gives you the big time games. I don't think that Jameis.
Why? Because Jameis throws for 4 They both threw for 3+ touchdowns this weekend.
Nah, I'll put it a different way. Like if you watch Jameis at Florida State and if you
this ain't college, bro.
Yeah, but if you watch the Hard Knocks, you watch the Buccaneers. Like the players love Jameis.
Yeah, I did. I watched Hard Knocks.
Like Jameis he carries himself like the franchise quarterback. He is that guy for I think the teammates. The teammates believe in Jameis. You're like not buying any.
I'm not buying any of it. I'm not. Let's hit the next sip or chug. So
I hate to say it, like I'm stumping for Jameis Winston, but like no. I think Tampa Bay made the right move in staying with Jameis Winston, and like
I'll give you this as a Saints fan. I hope that they stay with Jameis.
Okay, fair enough. I'm afraid Jameis is gonna light us up this weekend. Is what's gonna happen.
All right, next. Saints are on for 12 o'clock game.
Yeah.
What are you feeling on 12 o'clock games?
I'm gonna sip on the 12 o'clock.
Sipping on a 12 o'clock. All right. I'll let you explain yourself.
I think, like, for the Saints, especially when you have so many primetime games, like, I like the primetime games. I like the 3 o'clock games. If you're trying to go to the game, 12 o'clock is no fun. Like, let's be real, man. Like, so much of this show is about pregame and Saints on Tap. And, like, you got to start that pregame pretty early for a 12 o'clock game. Nah. And if you're playing a lot of 12 o'clock games, it means your team is no good. No one wants to see you when they put you at 12 o'clock and you're not in primetime. Nah, I'm sipping on 12 o'clock games.
It's an interesting take. I will chug on 12 o'clock games. I love that feeling. You wake up and the first thought is our game is on. It's ready to go. I'm ready to drink. I'm ready to have fun, party, and watch some football. I don't want to have to wait all the way until 3 o'clock.
It builds it up. It's like delayed gratification. Nope. It's like the longer you wait, you get all these appetizers. You know what I mean? Of the Falcons and the Falcons and the bad dirty birds and then you can watch the Saints. So I'm sipping on the 12 o'clock games, man.
Well, you're wrong.
That's fine. I can be that wrong all the fucking time, especially when I'm drinking beer.
All right, well, our next sip or chug, but I have no beer.
You chugged it already.
Yeah.
What did you chug on, anyways?
The 12 o'clock games.
Oh, the 12 o'clock
I was excited.
games. Yeah, and you sipped on
excited.
Jones. Okay.
Just like when I wake up for a 12 o'clock
exactly.
game. So our next sip or chug is supposed to be Sheldon Rankins.
And like what?
In his comeback, is he going to take the next step? And yes, he exists.
Is he going to have an impact? I'm going to say sip. I don't think it's. I'm going to sip. I don't think it's quite time for Sheldon Rankins yet to have an impact for the Saints this week. I think in the future, yeah. I don't think this week. I think Onyemata's been terrific.
Right.
Malcolm Brown's been good. Hendrickson's been better than they expect. I think Rankins' impact will come later in the season.
Well, I'm going to do some movie magic right here and maybe... And we've got beer.
Every time we do the show, we drink the beer way before the show is done.
All right, so Sheldon Rankins, I'm going to sip as well.
Yeah.
Same thing. I think he'll get to that point where he's going to be ready for his team, but they don't, he's not going to be making huge impacts right now. Give him a couple more weeks.
I think if they needed him a little more, but
Sure.
Onyemata's been terrific in the middle. Like,
let
the
him take his
defensive
time.
line has played pretty well. Like, I can't wait to get Sheldon Rankins back. There's no question about that.
All right, let's talk about the last sip or chug. The defense is better without Drew Brees.
I'm going to chug on this so hard.
Wait a chug in a hard way? That's not it. That's not it.
The chug is hard, I guess what you're saying. The light just went on in the studio. Whatever, man. The studio's drunk, too. I think that it is totally by design that the Saints defense is better without Drew Brees. And I just think it's a fundamental football concept. When you throw the ball at the level the Saints do with Drew Brees, and you score that quickly, and your possessions are that quick. And then on the flip side, when you know that you don't have the ability to score 35, to score 40 points with a Drew Brees, what are you going to do on offense? You're going to control the clock. You're going to check down. You're going to run the football, and you're going to play to your defense. It reminds me so much of LSU. LSU has played great defense for about 20 years. They've never had a quarterback who can move the ball, and the offense complements the defense. The offense is set up to complement the defense. They, by design, run the football, control the clock, and play to the defense. The Saints' defense has to be better without Drew Brees, and because of the way it changes the Saints' offense to check the ball down, to play ball control, to play possession defense, to play possession football, and rely on the defense, I don't think there's any question about it. They have to be, and kind of by the nature of football, like they are.
I'm going to sip on it. And
still, after I made that great case.
I actually think there's a lot of truth in what you said,
Of
but
course.
at the same time, Teddy has done a great job at getting the ball downfield and, moving it slowly down the field. There are going to be times where he's going to go 3 and out a lot. And because of that, the defense is going to be back on the field a lot more often than they normally are. The defense is not better without Drew Brees out there. Drew Brees can also put together those long drives that keeps them off the field for a while and rest them up for the next drive. And yeah, I hear what you're saying that, okay, the defense has to be better because Teddy's out.
It is both intangible and like fundamental physics.
And I understand that, but I think when Drew comes back and when you look at what the defense did with Teddy out there, that defense now has that confidence, knows what they can do, and there's no excuse. You can't say, oh, well, we have Drew Brees, like we don't have to play as great defense.
Yeah, but that's kind of what happens, though. Like, it's kind of what happens. You sit around, like, watch number 9
These are professional athletes. They're going to step up, and I think when Drew comes back, I think this was kind of good for them. It gave them that momentum. It gave them that confidence that, hey, we can play without number 9. And I think when number 9 does come back, they're really going to step things up and say, okay, this is who we are. This is our identity, and we are a fantastic defense.
I think that the nature of the game, I mean, look at it. They gave up 12 points against Dallas. They scored 14 points by themselves against Seattle, including the special teams. And, like, I don't think that's coincidence or happenstance. I think that's a total shift of the game plan to control the ball more on offense, not turn the football over, and play to a defense that both you expect to step up, but also you put it more in their hands a little bit. I think the proof is in the beer pudding.
I think there's truths on both sides of that. But, I mean, we'll see when Drew comes back. So I sipped, you chugged. You need to fill back up.
Yeah, I do. As we get into our last call.
Yeah, which is why I just chugged so that I could make my last call with a little bit of beer left.
I just filled it all up.
We might have put too much beer back in the pitcher.
And then we never put too much beer back. There's never too much beer in the pitcher. If there's anything we know with Who Dat Nation, there's never too much beer in the pitcher. Right. Actually, there's only too much beer in the pitcher because it hasn't been drunk yet. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right?
No, yeah. It's fair.
See what I did there. So we
need our cutoff bag.
We got a last. I know we need the cutoff bag so bad. I can hang it back there like yeah.
Last call.
Last call. Well, I'll start it. It's kind of what you talk about with Drew Brees, the marvel of modern medicine, and the marvel that is Drew Brees. From all the reports that you're hearing, from what you're seeing, that thumb is improving.
Playing a lot of thumb wars.
It's ahead of schedule, and I think that the hope for the Saints couldn't be brighter, not just because of what they've done with Teddy Bridgewater, but the prognosis with Drew Brees. And like they talked about all of these advancements in the treatment for the thumb, and also Brees' own dedication that everybody, when they looked at this, bet on, 6 to 8 weeks, we're going to bet on Drew Brees coming back quicker. He's never had to deal with an injury like this since he got to New Orleans. But if you're going to bet on anything with Drew Brees, it's that he's going to be ahead of schedule, ahead of time, and exceed the expectations. And what's exciting about the Saints is where they are with Bridgewater, but also the fact that Drew Brees is going to come back, and he's going to be back sooner than people thought. And can he grip the football? That will be a question. But I just, everything that we're hearing out of New Orleans right now is a positive in terms of Brees' injury and how you feel for the future.
My last call, I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara, and I think he's my MVP right now through 4 weeks of the season. And I don't think there's any doubt about it.
MVP of the league.
I'm talking about the league.
Not just like the Saints and Saints on top.
Listen, maybe his stats aren't super gaudy, but if there's one guy who you can pin all of these wins on so far, it's Alvin Kamara.
You're so right.
It's the guy who's been making plays no matter what. You dump it down on third down, you dump it down on second down. He will make something happen. It doesn't matter. He breaks tackles out of nowhere. He's like a superhero when you watch him just running the ball. Nobody can bring him down. Someone called him a
Marvel character?
Yeah. It's unbelievable watching what he's doing out there. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on Alvin Kamara right now in total when you talk about him as a running back, when you talk about him in the MVP race. And I understand that maybe he's not putting up super gaudy stats, but he is the reason this team is afloat right now. And if you took him away, this team would not have won the last 2 games.
And here's what's amazing is that teams know they're going to take him away.
The whole game plan
know that the Saints can't throw the ball downfield because they don't have a receiver who can stretch the field and they don't have a quarterback who can deliver the football. Teddy Bridgewater, even when he won in Minnesota, was like DFL in the league in air yards per attempt. And when you look at the Dallas game, it's a perfect example. Did they score 1 billion points? No, but Dallas focused on Kamara. They made them beat them downfield, and it still didn't matter. Kamara gets his yards, whether rushing or receiving. It's everyone in the league knows that at this point you got to shut down 41, and they still can't do it.
Yeah, he's just unbelievable. Well, Bucks, 12 o'clock in the Dome. I'm feeling confident.
It's going to be time. It's going to be an early pregame.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. You got to turn the show on early and
exactly.
Start getting going.
Cue it up, man. But, that's what we do here in Who Dat Nation. Again, the ratings last week.
Massive.
For the Dallas game on Sunday night. It was a 57-74 share. It's not even close in the NFL. That's why we're here for Saints on Tap, because of the pride of Who Dat Nation and that whole deal.
I'll cheers to all of the fans in Who Dat Nation right now.
Down with the Pirate Man.